in the first half we thought, right, this is going to be 4-0, this could be 4-5-0, this could be a really bad day at the office. And then, I don't know what happened and what switched, but it seems like Spurs, just in terms of their mentality and the way they set up, just all were out the window.
Players come and go, squads change, but it's kind of ingrained in the club, and it gets passed down, and until we break that cycle, we're never going to be able to move on and become what we want to be.
This is the talkSPORT Fan Network, Settle the Score, and my name's Maz. I'm a Brighton fan, and I'm joined by Spurs fan Craig Dearman. How are we, Craig? How you doing?
I've been better, to be honest. I have been better, but yeah, I'm here with the Spurs Chat podcast, and we're going to dissect this game today that I think we should have won, but threw away.
Interesting. Yeah, no, listen, without sounding too cliched, I think it was a tale of two halves, right? First half, you guys looked probably much the better side, in my opinion. But just to quickly caveat that, I think we had a couple of chances ourselves, notably the Welbeck chance. I thought, in the first half, he should have been finishing that. So easily we could have gone in half-time at 2-1 and it wouldn't have maybe looked as comfortable for Spurs. And then, in the second half, a big credit to Herzler, made a big change with Estepinian coming on that left-hand side, and I thought he transform the game in terms of his defensive abilities and going forward as well. It was a great day, a great victory to come back from 2-0 down. It's the first time we've done that. So in the Premier League. So it's a big feat for us, and really, really proud of the boys and how we came out. And it was a tale of two halves, I think, Craig, if you'd you probably agree with me on that one.
Yeah, 100%. It was it's a perfect way to describe it. It was a game of two halves. I thought we were brilliant first half. I thought we dominated possession, dominated the game, dominated the play. Our fast, free-flowing football was there. Our press was there. That's obviously how the goals came about. I actually expected us to come out second half and seal the deal. I thought Brennan Johnson chance at the end of the first half, he obviously blazed over. He's been in a rich vein of form lately, so actually probably expected him to get that one on target. It wasn't the easiest chance, but some were saying on X that, if he'd buried that 3-0, then Brighton would have been dead and buried. You just don't know. The thing is, I think your substitution at half-time was a clever one, a good tactical one, changed the game. I think we came out second half, we looked like we'd already won it, and the players couldn't get out of that rut. Some of our big players just didn't perform in the second half. In fact, I'd go as far to say most of the team didn't perform in the second half. And once you got that first goal back, I was sitting there thinking this is possibly going to only go one way. And of course, we all know what happened.
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, the substitutions were really positive. I think also as well, with regards to how we set up initially, it was poor, and losing Webster as well didn't help. I know he had his critics, especially in the Brighton fan base, and he didn't have his best game before. But with regards to today, obviously he got injured pretty early on, and I think that really did not help at all with our defensive capabilities. As we saw, we got cut open way too many times. It was too easy for Spurs. You guys just, there was one through ball, then the next, then ball from Werner. It was just too easy, and I think that didn't help at all with our defensive. And Igor coming in, I think he grew throughout the game, but it was a really tough first half, I think, for us, because I think we were quite thrown by that. And then, don't know what was said at halftime. I think, Herzler must have given him a bit of a dressing down and said, look, what is going on? This is just not good enough. And I think it showed that the way we came out, really good start. And again, two mistakes. You could argue Vertonghen should be saving that Maddison shot. And then, of course, Udogie should be clearing it for Spurs. So, I think, two big mistakes there, which got both teams, gave you that edge and then gave us that way back into the game. And then from there on in, I thought Jorginho Ruta, I'm a bit massive fan. I think we've probably not paid enough for that 40 million price tag to Leeds. I think we've got away with on a little bit there. He's looking an amazing player. I thought he really impacted the game. He didn't give up for the Welbeck header, the way he slid in, maybe, poor defensively. I'm sure you'll agree with that, Craig. And I think it was interesting, actually, just on that. What happened with Spurs' defence? I thought, first half, we didn't really cause you many problems. And then the second half, it all seemed to capitulate a little bit.
Yeah, I can't tell you what went wrong 100%. We just fell apart, to be honest. Um, Romero was coming out of position a fair few times trying to attack the ball. What Ange likes is defenders to anticipate, like a lot of teams, I suppose, and cut out that passer. But there was a couple of times he stepped out and he just didn't make it, which of course leaves space in behind him. Udogie didn't play brilliantly second half. Bentancur for your winner obviously was trying to shepherd the ball out, wasn't strong enough. Cross come over, you score. It was just a total calamity as far as Spurs were concerned. Very, very disappointing. That would have been our sixth win on the bounce. And now we go into the international break, which we seem to do time and time again. We lose the game before the international break, which I'm sure you've been there yourselves. It's
Yeah.
horrible to lose that game because you've got to wait another 2 weeks and watch international football for 2 weeks and pray that your players don't get injured. So the players are going to go off now, and obviously Angie's going to have absolutely no time to deal with the fallout from today. Like I say, I fully expected at half time. I did a podcast earlier and I expected it to be a happy one going into the international break, and of course it wasn't. They're never easy. I'm sure you know yourself when you do pods after games that you've lost. But this today
Yeah.
stung. It really did stung. But I'm not going to take anything away from Brighton. I thought absolutely sensational performance in the second half and fully deserved the victory.
Yeah, that was it for me. It was I thought we came out much, I think, stronger, hungrier. That second half, it was something different, and I think we've had very defensively. We're not solid. Obviously, we've lost Van Hecker, who is so important to the way we play. I think he's criminally underrated. As a Premier League defender, I think he's one of the best outside, arguably maybe the top four. One of the best centre backs in the league. I think he's that good, and to be without him, you could see how important he is to the way we play. And then João Pedro as well. He's again arguably our most influential attacker. He was brilliant. Obviously scored the winner against Man United, and he's a great player being called up to the Brazil squad. So we were missing two key players there, and to be able to come into the Spurs game, off like you said, with your unbelievable form, and I was going into it fearful. I did a Spurs preview as well for our channel, and we were talking about how scary the proposition of Brennan Johnson. If Son was going to play, Son on one wing, and then of course going through the middle as well with Solanke. So it was a very frightening proposition for us. And in the first half, we thought, right, this is going to be 4-0. This could be 4-5-0. This could be a really bad day at the office. And then, yeah, I don't know what happened and what switched, but it seems like Spurs, just in terms of their mentality and the way they set up, just all threw out the window. And I think what really helped as well, the crowd got behind after the first goal, after Minter's goal. I was there, and you could sense something was happening. But then when we went 3-2 up, you then get that fear of, oh no, are they going to get an equaliser? Are they going to go on to make it 4-3? Like, it's such a mad sport, isn't it? When you go through like a roller coaster of emotions where you just can't control it. So yeah, it was really interesting how it all panned out. And I thought I'll be really interested to hear about your thoughts on Werner, because I thought he's so quick, and I think he caused Veltman a lot of problems, to be honest. And I thought Kadioglu actually had a great game, but also was getting caused problems by Brennan Johnson. So both your wide players are actually playing really well. And then, but it's just with Werner, I don't know what it is with him. It's just his final product just always seems to not be there. And
Yeah.
why is that? Do you think? Do you think it's a confidence thing? Do you think he's just going through a mentality block? I don't know what it is with him.
The Werner that was at RB Leipzig, I think 2018-19 sort of season, that sort of time, he was phenomenal, and that's why Chelsea bought him, obviously. And then it didn't exactly go well for him at Chelsea. I think he was loaned back to Leipzig, and then or sold back to Leipzig, and then he's obviously on loan to us, and he was on loan again. I've never really known a player to polarise the fan base like Timo Werner. A lot didn't want him back. A lot didn't mind him coming back. The thing is with Timo Werner, he's an incredibly hard-working player. He really is. If you actually watch him, he really does put a shift in. And I think, he did terrorise your defence today to a degree. But it's that final product, like you were saying. He just, sometimes a final ball, but his finishing is dreadful for a Premiership.
One went into Rosette, didn't it? At one point.
And totally bereft of confidence, I think. And like any striker, I think if he gets one, he'll get two, he'll get three, he'll get four. But it just doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon, you know. But he is a danger. But it is worrying that he just can't. It's like Brendan Johnson went through a rough patch, had to delete his social media a few weeks ago. As soon as he did that, he's been banging the goals in. I'm sure it will come, and we're going to need Werner over the next few weeks, you know?
Do you genuinely believe he is the answer on that wing when Son's not there? Because I just as a neutral, or someone who hasn't got a vested interest in Spurs, I genuinely don't think he's up to scratch for the Spurs team. If you do want to be challenging for top four, going on to win FA Cups, titles, whatever it is, the ambitions of Spurs are. In my opinion, I just don't think Werner's that guy. But yeah, it'll be interesting to know what you think,
No,
Greg.
no. Um, I, he's only going to be used as backup, essentially, Werner. And we've been unlucky with injuries again already this season, with Richarlison being out, who can play on the left, with Son being out, with Odegaard, who was our acquisition from Burnley. He looks
Yeah.
quite an exciting, tricky
Mm.
winger. So we've got three players that would probably get in on that left-hand side above Werner. Because remember, Richarlison, we've played through the middle, but when he's at Everton, he's been off the left. You know, when he was at Watford, he used to play that sort of role as well. Richarlison's just getting back to fitness. But like I say, we've got limited choices on that left-hand side. But in answer to your question, no, I don't think he is the answer. We've just been really unfortunate with injuries.
And what do you think it was today that let Spurs down? Or from my perspective, I think that second half display was brilliant from our perspective. But it just felt like, especially that midfield battle, like I think we've touched on, Bentancur just didn't show much fight. Obviously, Ange didn't make subs till I think 75th minute, 80th minute. Was there anyone to blame, or do you just feel like the whole team as a collective didn't do very well?
Um, I think as a team we actually capitulated. To be honest with you, I mean, I couldn't pin it on one player. I wouldn't even blame Ange entirely for this. There, I think I can split the second half in half, if you like. That first 20 minutes after you scored that first goal, um, that's on the players for me. That is
Hmm.
definitely on the players. But I personally don't think Ange made his substitutions quick enough. He only gave like some Mikey Moore 9, 10 minutes at the end. That's not long enough to change the game. We were obviously desperate to get back into the game at that point. Um, as for the players, Bentancur looked dead on his feet after about 60, 70 minutes. Um, as I say, the back four, Mickey van der Ven was probably one of his worst performances.
Yeah,
Romero,
I
again,
did think that.
you want your captain to, yeah, Romero's a captain today. You wanted him to lead. I didn't see much of that at all. Um, it was like they were looking around at each other, waiting for somebody to do something, whether that be stick in a tackle or galvanise the players, and it just didn't come from anyone. And it was just really disappointing to see. And like I say, Brighton were really good for the win, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. And talking of Brighton, we got a lot of stick, for Chelsea because Herzler was getting questioned. Is he tactically naive? Is he too young? Everyone talks about his age. If you didn't know, he's 31 years of age, and a lot of people, like to bring that fact up and think that because he came from St. Pauli, second division in Germany, is he good enough? Is he up to scratch? But I think today showed, that halftime switch. I've mentioned it already, but that Estepinian change was integral to going forward. Him and Matoma linked up really brilliantly. Matoma was brilliant as well. He had a fantastic performance. And just talking about, the naivety from Ange about his substitutions, I thought on the flip side, every game, Herzl has proven that he's so positive with substitutions. And I feel like given more time, it's only what, 7 games, 6, 7 games now in the Premier League that he's had to prove himself. He's got so much more to go. I think we're getting written off at Chelsea because we were playing the high line and we were doing a lot wrong. And you can definitely criticise. Even we criticised when we thought it wasn't good enough. But then to bounce back against Spurs, I think was so important, especially a good Spurs side. Like you said, you've been, was it 5 on the spin, and you were full of confidence.
Yeah.
Brennan Johnson was on fire. So to be able to put in a tactical, masterclass, shall we say? I don't know, maybe go that far, but he showed that his tactical awareness and being able to switch things up when he needed to, because we did criticise him when Webster last game against Chelsea. I think when we went was it 4-2 in the first half. Why we were saying get Eagle on, swap Webster out, do something, change it up, but he left it quite late on to do that. So yeah, today I think he showed that he's definitely got it in him, and he can really take this Brighton side to new levels. Hopefully, still a long way to go, and we are missing some key players. So hopefully, with the international break now, we can definitely get some few players back, and let's see what happens. We've got a lot of players to integrate as well, so it'll be interesting to see how our seasons go later down the line.
I think for Tottenham, I just think that was unacceptable today. You shouldn't be throwing away a two-goal lead like that. You just shouldn't. It just shouldn't be happening. And that says to me, we was getting a little bit excited having 5 wins on the spin. We thought it was finally clicking. Angie's always said there's going to be bumps in the road, but I wasn't expecting that today. I don't expect us to go out and win every game. We'd all love to do that, of course we would, but that is unacceptable today. That performance, and if we've got desires to win trophies, to push for that top four, playing like that is not going to help. That's our worst start to the Premier League. Worst start to the Premier League in 16 years, bizarrely,
Wow,
today.
I didn't know that.
Which is surprising considering the way we've been playing. That really surprised a lot of people hearing that. But it is our worst start to the season since 2008-9.
Is he under pressure,
So
Craig?
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
reckon?
I I personally don't think so. I think there will become a tipping point for any manager if you lose X amount of games. I mean, our Daniel Levy has never been shy in pushing the button on replacing a manager if things aren't going well. Some would say too soon. For the likes of Poch, when Poch left, including myself, I thought he had more credit in the bank, to be honest, and he let him go. But when you look at our results over the course of that last year, from the November previously to November 2018, well, I don't think we won away from home at all, and the Champions League run papered over the cracks. Ange is here for the long term, we've been told. I'm still fully behind the manager. I think you can see what he's trying to do. He's given us an identity in the football we want to play, which is great. When it works, it's brilliant, and I think we could give anybody in Europe a game on our day, but it's still getting to that, and you can see the signs of when it doesn't quite work like today, then it looks really bad. But I'm still fully behind the manager. It's just an incredibly frustrating day today.
Yeah. And final question from me, Craig. I know it gets bandied about a lot. You know, you guys get called Spursy. You guys get called bottlers. Does that, first of all, does that annoy you as a Spurs fan? And also, does games like today prove that maybe there is some kind of, mental block, barrier where when you guys go maybe 1 or 2-0 up and 3-0 up, that for some reason it's just like, oh, like what? Why is that? It does confuse me because I do see a lot of results. You guys go 1 or 2 ahead and then it seems to capitulate. But why is that? And does that annoy you, that title of being Spursy?
Yeah, I mean, I think most Spurs fans will tell you that that's the one word that we hate, that Spursy tag. But do you know what? It's correct. I mean, it should be probably in the Oxford English Dictionary as a word, really, sometimes. But the thing is, the good thing about Spurs fans is most of us can have a laugh at ourselves, and the banter amongst the Spurs fans. The stupid pictures you get sent in memes and that on WhatsApp and everything, we'll send them to each other. I'm sure a lot of other fans of clubs do, right? But what I would say, last week we beat Manchester United 3-0 at Old Trafford. And we didn't just beat them, we annihilated them, we ruined them. Should have been 6, right? And that Fernandes sending off didn't affect that game, in my opinion. So we don't do it all the time, but as soon as it happens, everybody, it's Spursy. Yeah, other teams probably do it as much as Tottenham, although results over the last year will tell you that we have dropped, I don't know the exact figure, but it's been a lot of points from winning positions. So that's where that Spursy tag comes from. And it's kind of sometimes ingrained into a club. And this is what Angie's problem is. Players come and go, squads change, but it's kind of ingrained in the club and it gets passed down and passed down. And until we break that cycle, we're never going to be able to move on and become what we want to be. So Ange has got a big job on his hands. It's still a work in progress. There's still a lot of work to be done on the squad. We've still at least 2 transfer windows, in my opinion, away from getting to where he wants to be. So fans have got to be patient. We are going to get days like this. It's not the end of the world, but it hurts today because we should have won that game.